Hi everyone, Daryl here from Comala Tech. Today we're here talking about transitions. Transitions are just different ways that you can move between the states. States are just phases of your workflow in your approval process. In case you're not familiar with our app, Comala Document Management allows you to add an approval and review process to Confluence content via approval process we call workflows. Take, for example, this editor staff workflow with 4 states: a draft state, a ready state, a reviewed state, and a final published state. The way we move from one state to another is called a transition. There are 6 main types that you can use in Comala Document Management, along with one bonus method, which we'll mention briefly at the end. So let's dive in. Transition types, number 1 is the submit transition. Here we just have one button, submit, and this automatically sends the page to the next state in the workflow. This might be helpful if you want to give your page creator a chance to write their draft, then officially submit that page for review after pressing submit. It may transition to another state to be reviewed with an approve or reject option. Number 2 is the content review, which features our well-known approve and reject buttons. This is the transition that most users are looking for from our document management apps. Your user has 2 options to approve or reject. Here we can see that clicking approve transitions the page to the reviewed state. Clicking reject instead would transition back to the draft state. Now, this is just a basic example using a workflow template. Comala Document Management offers a lot more customizations, so you could, for example, go to an entirely different state when you press reject. It all depends on what kind of process you need. Number 3, the update transition. So let's say you've approved your document and it's sitting in the final published state. But later on, you want to make some changes and go through another round of reviews. You can do this with the update transition, which activates when a page is, you guessed it, updated, and transitions back to another predefined state. In this scenario, the ready state. Transition number 4 is the expiry transition. This lets you set an expiry time, say 3 months or a year, and when that time elapses, it will automatically transition to another state. This is perfect if you need to review your pages again after a certain amount of time. Transition number 5 is the task transition. In Comala Document Management, you can assign users tasks, which they can check off. With the task completed transition, once all the tasks have been checked, the page will automatically move to the next state. And finally, we have the state selection transition. Instead of buttons, this transition shows your user a drop-down menu which allows them to choose which state they want to transition to next. We've seen customers use this when there are several different teams, like a legal team, a safety team, so on and so forth. And you want to select which teams need to review the page next. So those are the 6 main transition types that you can use in your workflow. It's very simple to set up with the workflow builder, and they can be combined and chained together in all sorts of ways. Now there's one more tool you can use to create transitions, and that's called a trigger. Triggers are a bit more complex since you need to write them in the markup language, in the markup editor. But they give you an enormous amount of flexibility. Just to give you one example, you could add a trigger into your workflow which changes the state when you assign a label to a page. So if you have an idea for how you would like to transition between states that's not covered by the 6 types we talked about, there's a good chance it can be done with triggers. Whatever workflow you have in mind, our team is always happy to help in case you need it. Just reach out to us and we can set up a call to talk about what your specific requirements are. Thanks for listening and have a great day.